kick off the recording here. There we go. So so last week down in Austin, we met with a bunch of the seven-figure partners and did they had a Halloween costume contest for the vendors, in which we were supposed to dress up and have a little bit of good fun the night of the night after the event. But instead, I just decided to present on stage as Captain Obvious because obviously everybody needs a QBR. So on top of taking home the illustrious best costume trophy.
You know what? It looks so much bigger on Facebook when you're not there for sale.
And the best part is, they put the caption on the back. So high quality Amazon purchase of a costume trophy here. But,
perfect. Well, and Jeff is joining now, and Jeff is the one that said, make sure Alex is in costume. So
well, here we are.
Hold on, his audio hasn't shown up yet, so I'm gonna okay.
It was hilarious because I was just absolutely cornering it up on stage, and then I walked off stage, and Lisa came and grabbed me, and she's like, "You can't take that off. People want to take pictures with you." I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me."
Jeff, you're welcome. You asked for Captain Obvious.
Right.
So.
Oh, Jeff has his own hat. Look at that. But he has no mic. You're muted, Jeff.
Yeah, nobody likes my voice anyway.
I have a face for radio, so they better like my voice.
Oh, it's a virtual hat. Fantastic.
I didn't know a virtual hat was a thing. This must be how people turn their heads into hamsters and then they get on the call
get stuck that way.
Or with a judge and can't figure out how to turn it off.
Exactly.
No, I'm not really a cat. Yeah, right. Okay.
Right. Oh, it was a cat. Yeah, it was a cat, not a hamster. That's right.
All right, I'm gonna slap up our jam board. Captain Obvious, do you want to go through this, or do you want me to?
Oh, go for it. You're the star of the show today.
Well, no, I won't be. The platform for sure. All right, so we have a busy week coming up. We will be in Orlando, so I know many of you will be joining us because you've signed up for some events that we have. So that is excellent. So we normally have the Noodle LCI meetings Wednesday at 1. But those will be canceled next week, and this call will be canceled next week because we will be wrapping up the booth at IT Nation. If you are joining us, please come find us at booth 812, and you'll be able to, so we'll have lots of swag, including the book on customer success that we will be giving away. And we actually have some links. So I'm going to grab them and put them in the chat. We have links to, there is a 7-figure meetup at the hotel bar from 2 to 4:30 the day.
Oh, it's on the next slide.
Oh, thank goodness, because I was hunting it down in our chat.
Yep, no, it's on the next slide.
Perfect.
Oh no, it's on the slide after the next one. So there you go.
You're a liar.
There you go.
Okay, so I just put that in chat, and then on Wednesday.
That's Wednesday, so that's the first day of IT Nation. That afternoon, right after this, is the opening keynote. But this is, I think it's during some other stuff, but nothing exciting.
Yep, and then the second one is the block party, MSP block party. So we will be there as well.
That's the one that usually gets 1,000 people. So it's a hell of a party if you guys are going. It's usually a good time. And that is Thursday night.
Thursday night. Yep. We will be there. We're even letting the developers out. So like great, crazy things happen.
They'll be drinking Coors Light though. They'll be fine.
Only one.
Only one.
And then I also put, so the link to the book is live, and if you're coming live, just get a free copy. If you're not coming live, we made the launch cost of the book $4.99. So like get it while it's cheap. Would love to have you join in the conversation around customer success, which we're going to talk about today. Alex and I are both giving sessions at IT Nation Connect. Alex will not
be dressed like this.
No. Although I feel like our t-shirts will maybe draw some attention.
We'll stand out. We will stand out.
Matt, everyone asks when the Audible version is getting recorded, and I think I may actually do one, but both Chris Weiser and Ray Orsini converted it. They're like, we used AI and converted it so we can listen to it. So I get it. The crowd wants an Audible version. So
Ray even offered to record the audio for you. So if you want like Barry Manilow to do your, your audiobook.
The funny thing is hearing
Hello,
him,
I'm Marnie Stockman.
My teacher's story. So I'm like, yeah. So I think I am actually going to record the Audible version. But apparently that takes, with COVID, the approval process has taken a lot longer. So there's a Kindle version right now and the book version. And then when I get the Audible, I will definitely let you know.
And it's a quick read. It's not like a 500-page developer's manual. It's but by way of IT books, it's a quick, easy read.
Thank you. Okay, so Alex, not as Captain Obvious, do you want to talk about what you're going to talk about at your session, which is Friday at 2 p.m.?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about just what sections of a QBR belong automated and can benefit from automation versus the sections that still require human interaction. Like, it doesn't matter how much automation you roll out, but at some point you've still got to have humans checking boxes and verifying that things are what they say they are or are what we think that they are. So we want to talk about how to really drive quarterly business reviews with automation where it makes sense, and the places that it doesn't make sense, building process and helping your team, give them the ability to scale with process.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeff. And so join us, for Alex's session if you can. And then my session is...
If you can't, cancel whatever else you're doing and come anyway.
Right. What are you doing Friday at 2 in Orlando? Not that. So my session is Thursday at 2:45. And my session topic says getting naked. So I feel like that's the marketer in me that wants to draw a crowd. But it's about Patrick Lencioni's book, Getting Naked, sort of the concepts behind that and how it relates to customer success. So folks will walk away with some best practices around customer success, as well as the book. So join us. We put a lot of time and effort into these, so we hope to get butts in seats. Even if you're not paying attention, I'd like to have people in seats. So please come. And then we have declared an IT Nation sign war. So if you follow us on literally any bit of social media, 1, 2, 3, 4, we declared a sign war on.
In case you didn't realize that corny marketing is our jam.
That's what we do. So we have OIT and 7-Figure MSP and Breach Secure Now and IT Glue and Ninja One and others are participating in our sign war. So if you follow this hashtag on Facebook, you can find, we will be doing this on social media until IT Nation. And then at IT Nation, we will all have actual signs that we will be putting bad puns and dad jokes on. But folks that come and take a picture of the sign and hashtag ITNC sign war will be entered in $1,000 drawing. So all the more reason to participate in the sign war. And if you track us on social media, you'll know who's participating and when you can find us. So please join in. That's kind of all the announcements we had. And now we're going to chat about customer success. So we had promised that next week at IT Nation, we're going to launch customer success, and we are. We've talked to many of you about betaing customer success, and we will turn that on for you live next Friday at the end of IT Nation. That is just so that we can, because we are bringing our developers and other leaders to IT Nation, that we wanted to minimize the number of tickets as everybody's juggling a lot of things. And with beta, you always know you may get some tickets, and plus Kirk. So, that gives all the more reason why tickets may show up. But if we have not talked to you about beta and you are interested, because I'm going to show you what it's like today, if you're interested in customer success, anybody on this call or listening can have free access through the end of the year. You can just send us a note, info@lifecycleinsights.com, and I'll put you on the list. to get early access into that. So without further ado, that's a solid question. Fortunately, the one you know is the Coors Light guy, Kirk. So diving into customer success. So with customer success, and if you've read the book on it, it'll make a whole lot of sense. Customer success, we're looking at a few things. First, it is automatically integrated with our core platform. So the fact that you're all here means you already have step one, which is you have to have Lifecycle Insights, the VCIO platform. And then from there, we pull over data and are pulling some different types of metrics really so that you can define. Alex likes to say, like, he always asked at his MSP, like, how do we know we're winning? And customer success insights really lets you know how you know if you're winning. So this first page that I'm on, is segmentation. So this is, we've talked about this before on this call, right? For each client, I can define the MRR value of that client. You can see that Creative Designs is up here as we're moving it around, and I can change the value or of the effort that it takes to work with Creative Designs. Maybe they're a high-end compliance company, so they are highly valuable to me because they pay a lot in MRR, but they also are a lot of effort. So if I'm looking at defining each quadrant of how I work with them, this would absolutely be my quarterly business review, meaning I do these quarterly. Creative Designs is so far up here that it might be monthly, right? Like at that point, you might want to even segment a little bit higher. If I look down here at high value, low effort, boy, this is a sweet spot for sure. These are my folks that are paying solid MRR, but they're not high compliance for whatever reason. They're low effort. Maybe they are high compliance, but they don't require a lot of work because they've got all of my systems in place, et cetera. And then, so that may be quarterly business reviews. It may be semi-annual, right? Everybody gets to decide for themselves what that is, but this gives you insights into who they are. Upper left-hand corner, low value, high effort. So this one is they're not providing a lot of value in terms of MRR for you, but they are a lot of effort. So this is really the group to work on to get out of this quadrant. You don't want to be on this quadrant. You either need to get them to be lower effort or higher dollar value, right? Because this is costing you. And really, this is where profitability is probably low. And then finally, low value, low effort. So this is, if you think about a high touch, mid touch, tech touch, this would be some automation. So this is, what can I do to stay top of mind with them that doesn't require quarterly or monthly calls because they're not a ton of value, but you certainly want to stay top of mind. So would this be once a month newsletters, that type of thing? And I know a lot of you already have those types of kind of, I call it remarketing into your own customer base to let them know that you're still around and doing things for them. So
Marnie, quick question on, I'm noticing that these are sliders that you're adjusting. Is there any intent or plan to maybe go back to ConnectWise and look at like ticket count and actual time spent on these agreements? So and get some of that automated?
Absolutely. So right out of the gate, and that is why beta is beta. Right out of the gate, a lot of this will be manual, but our intent is to automate all of the pieces possible. The very first thing we will try to grab is MRR, so you don't have to manually enter that. And then for effort, right now, if I hover over the I for effort, you can see that we let you define what rules you would follow to set a value score for effort, right? Like multiple locations, compliance requirements, Windows 2008. The next step would be to have it as almost like a mini assessment where I could say, for my MSP, I'm going to answer these 5 questions and this will help me score on effort. And then the next step would be, of those, what can we automate to pull in? Because everybody might have different rules around what defines value. So absolutely, we're aiming to pull more metrics to automate because these are not the only metrics you're going to see. So, yep. And that's why we want folks to like you said, kick the tires and tell us, okay, when I'm looking at effort for my company, I'm going to want to enter these values, right? This is how I'm going to calculate this. So yes. The other piece, if we're talking about metrics that we're pulling into the platform, is you'll notice that some of these are colored. Not surprising turn of events in Lifecycle Insights. It is going to be green is good, right? Red is bad, yellow is caution, and then the black or gray is, we don't have a score for it. So this is based on customer health. So we're also going to give you the ability to drill into a customer and give them a health score, because this Get Well Medical is red and they're high value. So in the land of what work I would need to do as a customer success person, be it you, the CEO, your VCIO, an account manager, your tier 1 support team, right? There are lots of folks that may be doing this work. But if on Monday I walked in and saw that red, I would work on that until it was no longer red or I had a path to resolution, because that is a high value client that for some reason is at risk of churn, or certainly not a referral partner. So I'm going to dig into a customer detail so you can see how we set those health scores for folks. So I dig into customer detail. There's a lot on the screen, so I'm just going to pause for like 15 seconds, which feels like an eternity on Zoom, to let you look at the tiles. I feel like that might be 15 seconds. And if I give myself much longer than that, I'll get completely distracted on another task and be like, oh, wait, people are waiting for me to start talking again. On this page, you can see that we've got the segment that they're in, their health score, MRR, which we're pulling from that, and you could enter it here or on that main page. Again, ultimately, we're going to automate that from somewhere. Tech debt pulls from Lifecycle Insights VCIO module, and then we'll talk about stack alignment and opportunity. Here, you're given a customer profile that you can fill in and edit per client so that you can really start to get just a high level overview. But I told you we were coming here to talk about health metrics. So these are completely customizable for your MSP. So we've given you some right out of the gate. Sorry, I just looked at Kirk's comment. So right out of the gate, we give you one for sentiment, customer satisfaction, CSAT, org, and renewals. You could add one for NPS. You could add one for any range, and you can prioritize which order these are in. So if sentiment is not the first thing that you want in the list, you want CSAT up there, you could do that. You can also weight these because these are going to average to give you an overall health score. So if I want to change Creative Design's health score and say their sentiment's gone down a little, but their customer satisfaction, their last ticketing score came in at 82, we're in good shape. I'll answer this question right out of the gate. We will be automating for customers. So we want to pull customer satisfaction, but right out of the gate, it'll be manual. So if you use things like CrewWho, SmileBack, BrightGauge, ConnectWise to pull CSAT scores, we will aim to automate that right out of the gate. What are you going to go do? You're going to come type in 82.
We would love to know, just from a collection of you guys, don't hesitate to give us feedback of what product you're using for CSAT, because there's a lot of them. Yep. And we will rush to do the ones that have the most folks using them. So do let us know.
If you put in here which ones you use, we put your names in tickets. And we rank by how many folks are in it. So if 15 people tell us, and then only 2 people say they're using another one, right? We'll use that as a general percentage. So really voting here, you can email it to us. If you don't want to put it out in public, you can put it to us privately. We absolutely do look at that when we're trying to decide which integrations to deal with next. So that's the idea for customer health. When I save that, you can see I've got a spark line, a little trend line. So in general, Creative Designs is pretty happy. It hasn't gone anywhere. So every time you score it, you'll see whether health has gone up or down. And that is what then colors the bubble on the segmentation chart. One of the things we will be working on is the ability to filter by those colors so that you will be able to see some of our charts, like show me all my red clients and what we need to do. Next over is stack alignment. This one I'll pause for the 15 seconds, but you're probably going to want me to pause for like a minute and a half because there's a lot on this page, but I'll talk through it after I give you a second to look at it, or 15 seconds as I promised. All right, so the notion of stack alignment, folks that we have talked to have said that this absolutely is information they have been trying to cobble together and have really not had an easy way to get this information aggregated. So the goal is really to give you insights, and you can see on the left-hand side that we're building a dashboard to give you these insights overall. So you would get an aggregated view of this, but also we want to give you insights into an individual customer. And so in this particular customer, creative designs, I would put in the category of hot mess if they're only 5% aligned to my stack, right? You want them 90% aligned to your stack. But again, demo data, crazy things happen. I only have $2,200 worth of opportunity. But what this will highlight for you is really the health of a client with how aligned they are to your stack, because stack alignment really is a health score, right? In the managed service world, you know, if they're only buying into 23% of the offerings that you have, that first, there's a lot more opportunity. And second, that would be maybe a little more suspect in terms of a retention concern or churn, because the competition out there is going to come and kind of poke away and try to land and expand from those other services. So insight into stack alignment, the percentage represents how much of your stack have they bought into and what opportunity is there that you feel like is appropriate for them if you get them fully aligned. Now you can see below, and I'm sure there are lots of questions on this, so feel free to put them in the chat, but I'll try to answer some as we go. You will have the ability, so we have a list of services that you might be offering and a plus sign at the bottom, because in Lifecycle Insights, we always let you create your own, right? So here you can see we've created four stacks. There's a cloud stack, a premium stack, a standard stack, and a security stack. And you'll be able to create your own tags and use or not use as you see fit. But let's just say that RMM comes in my premium stack and I expect everyone to use this. I can grab premium and see that if this client is a premium client, that they should have all 5 of these. Again, this is demo data, so of course your premium stack would have a lot more things than this, but you get the idea that I can define the services that come in my premium stack. Hopefully you noticed when I clicked in here, nope, you wouldn't notice because they're working on it now, is that you will have the ability to create calculation types. So here we have per seat monthly, and how you will calculate these so that we can define the opportunity for you. If it's a per seat, do you want us to grab the number of end users and do the multiplication? Is it per month, etc.? So that we can say, all right, I'm going to unselect premium, but you can see that you can have your premium and standard stack. Everybody's got a firewall, etc. So first column is the service you're offering. The next checkbox is whether or not it's applicable to this particular client. Where might this be the case? You might have a small construction firm that does not require HIPAA, some tool that would be around HIPAA. And so therefore it wouldn't be applicable to that client. So there would be no opportunity there. You can choose from a fairly we feel like it's a fairly exhaustive list. Or you can grab other to say what product they're currently using. And then you could grab the product you wish you want them to be using, right? So whatever they're using is not what your preferred. CSAT doesn't make sense for this, but you get the idea. IT Boost is where we want them to be. They're either partially aligned, fully aligned, or not aligned at all. So they wouldn't be aligned if they're using, it would make sense that they're using none. And is this something that's included in your agreement or no? If it's included, it would there's no opportunity because they're already paying for it. It's just whether or not they're actually using it. But if it's not included, then there would be some opportunity here. And I can say this is, $20 a month in MRR if they choose to use this. I also have the ability to, once I save it, I can do one of two things. I can link to an existing recommendation, or I could create a new recommendation. So I could then go in and build a recommendation. It's the exact same piece that comes from our core module. So you can link assessment items and assets, et cetera, to build a recommendation around multiple tools in your opportunity. And they could all be, you could have 3 of these that are all built around the same recommendation. So you'll be able to link to an existing recommendation and say, okay, all of these opportunities are in one recommendation, et cetera. So you can see here that deploying this RMM is what I'm aiming for. And the opportunity would be $1,400. So I'll pause for a second on that because I feel like that's a lot of talking and want to see if it makes sense. You like it, gives you good insights and has value into, oh, I've got somebody in the top right quadrant, right? With a good health score and a little opportunity left. I should go, make that sale. All right, I will move from here. So we will be pulling the org. So all of the users from the PSA will land in here, and you can then determine where they are in terms of satisfaction, because that's definitely a part of customer success. Are they upset, indifferent, satisfied, a fan? Right out of the gate, this will be the initial functionality, but you will be able to tag them with leadership, right? This is somebody, because you're not gonna know everyone's health score, and you're also, no offense to the rest of the world, not gonna care about their health score, right? You want the you want to really understand the people that come to the QBRs, the C-suite, the decision makers, what their level of satisfaction is. Contracts. So this should look very familiar. It's always good. As Kirk says, there's a lot to absorb here. So when you're drinking through the fire hose, it's always nice to say, oh, I know this part of it. I don't have to swallow this stuff. So this is the exact same contracts module, because a customer success manager would want to have that right in front of them to see where they are. If there's notice dates, et cetera, of things that they might be able to work into a conversation. You will be able to set goals, and you will be able to align those goals with, let me click on this, with projects. So you could say, all right, if our goal is to move to the cloud, you could align this to, a cloud service project, et cetera. And then lastly, we have engagement, which will pull right out of the gate. It will pull the meetings and business reviews that are in the VCIO module. And then you will be able to add, so you can see, you'll be able to add other meeting types, phone calls, et cetera, that will allow you to really track the full life and times of, the conversations with your client. So comments, questions so far? Kirk, I appreciate that you're like, yep, that's a lot of things to look at.
What's the deal with the colors on this screen with the blue, the green, and the red?
Yeah, so right now it is not aligned to anything other than the developer just put in some holder colors. We will use the same ones and the same icons that come from customer success. I mean, come from the core module. So it will be the same, and you will have a legend. So that's actually, they're working on that one today. So you'll get, the gold calendar of need to be scheduled, the green for if it's completed, you'll kind of get the same icons for that.
Will we be able to pull the goals and the aligned projects into Report Builder at any time so that we can have discussions around the organizational goals with the customer?
I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, my expectation on this was that it would actually land on the recommendations tab along with the recommendations that you make for the customer. So when you go build a recommendation, you can say, okay, here's the assets we need to replace, and here's the risk assessment items that this solves for. But it's also aligned with your core business goal of enabling your salespeople to operate from the road, or growing to 10 new locations, or whatever that business goal is, so that when we give them a, hey, Mr. Customer, we'd like you to spend 20 grand, it can be aligned with their goals as much as with ours.
I'd actually like to have that separated out because it helps us, and we do that now, and because it helps us have better business conversations with the customer rather than technology conversations. So saying, talk to us about your business. Here's the goals that we've kind of set out with you. What's changed, what needs to be added, and let's talk about where we are on that path. It's a great introductory kind of conversation, and having that outside of the recommendations helps drive those conversations.
So having this as a component of Report Builder, like one of those drop-down components as goals, then is what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense. There are also some other things in the works for Report Builder to get other new components in there too. So I think that certainly aligns with thinking. Alex, I saw you unmuted for a second. Oh, thumbs up. Okay, perfect.
Have you given much thought about, do you envision all of this, that we would pull this up in front of the customer and have it a working thing in front of them, or?
So we have definitely talked about the need to develop some of these into a report that would then display in Report Builder, probably as the first mode, because there are some things, depending on how you fill out your customer health metrics, you may or may not ever want them to see that page, right? So you don't necessarily want to show them this screen. And then when they say, like, why did you skip over customer health metrics or org? And that's because I have crazy man listed under your emoji, right? So in the same way that in the VCIO module, we have permissions at the granular level of read, write, show this page, don't show this page. We will offer those same permissions, but not right out of the gate. The first way we will control for that is to allow you to add components into Report Builder that you would want them to see and display. So imagine if you could just select, like, I want the goal page, to Trisha's point, right? I want to see the goals in Report Builder. That would be the first step of that. Does that make sense? Or were you thinking we have those priorities reversed?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's the goals and the stack alignment are the two that first come to mind that I'd want to be able to have a conversation in front of the customer on. And obviously, as you touched on, I wouldn't want to bring this page up in front of them. Yeah.
I always say when I went to work for the ed tech company that I've been a customer for, hope you all scrubbed your CRM before I got here, because I'm confident I know what it said about me. So I'm with you on that. So, I wrote those two down. I think a couple other people have said the same thing about stack alignment. I would really want to be able to show folks, and some would not, but some would want to say, you're almost full on our basic stack, but we have these premium services. And if you really want to you really need to be NIST, CMMC, CS, whatever compliant. And this is what you're missing. And these are all of the, these are all of the things that are included in our agreement, right? I don't want to include that because we've got data in there and you're not using them, right? So we could provide this much more value and you haven't even done that. It makes you more secure, more stable, et cetera.
I'm wondering if we can build a function of report builder around that to tuck it in report builder where the customer already has access and keep from making it, just even exposing an MSP to the accidental slip of letting a customer see something they shouldn't.
Yeah. I'll make that note for securities into report builder could control for that. While we're on that topic, and I'm happy to come back to this, and this is a little messy today, but I'm happy to show. So you will be able to define account managers. So you can, add a new account manager from the list, etc. So I'm an account manager and I'm also a manager, and then define groups. So I can define a list of Marnie's accounts and you can see that I will have access to Creative Designs, Dharma Enterprises, Get Well Medical Services. So that will mean that when the dashboard is complete and the segmentation graph, that if I only had access to my accounts, this would just have my 15, 30, however many I'm controlling for, right? My accounts, so I could see mine. But if Matt was my manager, Matt, you would be able to see everyone up there and then filter by mine to see how I am in comparison. Same thing with the dashboard. I could see, if I had permission to the top level view, I could see how everybody was doing and then where my opportunities were. So where might this matter? If you think about KPIs, OKRs, SLOs, whatever term you have for holding a customer success, account manager, VCIO people accountable, right? Whatever 3 letters you choose. You could just call them their yearly goals. To be able to say, Marnie's clients are the healthiest and least aligned, right? Maybe Marnie's overly friendly. She's just scoring everybody green. And we need to have a chat with Marnie about like her Pollyanna sunshine view of the world. It is also why your metrics should include things more than just Marnie's opinion on customer success, right? Just because I think they're happy and they like me does not mean that they are not a retention risk. And so that's why we really have additional metrics around that. But to be able to see the dashboard view in terms of opportunity, so as you're setting KPIs for your customer success managers, right? Alex's clients have an opportunity of 150,000 and Amy's clients have an opportunity of 50,000, right? You can kind of reestablish appropriate goals for everyone based on opportunities into their clients. And maybe that means that Amy is going to get the next 3 clients because she's got bandwidth, right? She's got everybody well aligned, good process in place, et cetera, to march toward that. So that's the notion of what that grouping is and to be able to filter by all of those pieces. I'm glad you like that, Matt. I don't know what point you loved it, but I'm glad you. So any other questions or ideas? We are definitely, like I said, we're still developing and we plan to. Like I said, we're not charging anybody. We're gonna beta this at least through the end of the year. And we have other, some other folks that we've kind of committed, gotten them on the hook to talk to us for the next few months beyond that to really help build it out. But anybody that wants to get in and dig in, see if this is something they're interested in or give us feedback on, we're way open to that.
Is there going to be any view into how, like a comparison between account managers as to what segment their customers fall into? So are we assigning high effort accounts more to one account manager than the other, which could cause a problem and overwork an account manager, where maybe we could assign, more low effort accounts to, or have more of them for a particular account manager or a junior account manager or something like that, just to make sure that we're aligning account managers and customers appropriately?
So yes, and I will tell you that it really, when I first started doing this as a director of customer success, I found out that my top customer success managers could hold about $2 million worth of ARR. And we rated everybody. And then my junior account managers could handle like $800,000 worth of ARR. And it was interesting how we had to stack clients that were kind of heavy effort clients given account managers. So if you picture this segmentation view, imagine how in the VCIO module, you can filter by location, et cetera. You would be able to filter by account manager to see where they land. On the dashboard tile, we plan on giving you some insights into, Marnie's accounts average health is this. I hadn't thought about the breakdown of kind of counts per segment.
I think that's important. Like that really is that's important. And that makes me think accounts per vertical as well. If you're doing the customer profile and entering the vertical, it also would make sense to stack one account manager in a vertical or something like that, because they'll get good at it. They'll get faster at it. They'll be able to
know the industry better to be able to.
Yeah.
But some industries are going to be always more high effort.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at, the financial law, healthcare, all of
Looking at
those.
you, healthcare, yeah.
And so understanding how you have your account managers aligned and are you really enabling them for success is going to be, some good indicators as well to get from this.
I like that. That's the kind of feedback we need, guys. Keep it up.
Yeah.
And gals.
Thank you. Well, as usual, and please keep asking questions. This recording will go out. So this is the first time we're kind of, it is, Matt, too early to see beta early of the dashboard because it's pretty darn ugly. So it's got the, as a matter of fact, 3 of the tiles currently say woot. So I'm not interested in releasing that to the world yet. And there are tons of ideas toward it. So that dashboard will grow for sure. I know that today they were working on connecting to the project, the business reviews, the account groups and managers so they could filter the view. Then they'll build the dashboard so that they'll have those filters in place. But the notion would be aggregated view of this. Where are your opportunities, right? As a company, we have an opportunity of, that could be a huge number, right? If they're not aligned, you could have millions of dollars worth of opportunity. Then when you start filtering it by segment, by health, and if you think about a customer success module, to be able to say, I have, say, $9 million worth of opportunity, but $6 million of that opportunity lie in accounts that are red. How strong is that opportunity, right? So where does the work need to happen? If you're looking for quick pickings, right? So then you switch the conversation. Where are my raving fans? I've got $1 million worth of opportunity in my raving fans. If you're trying to hit sales quota goals, but then you have to, sales quota goals are different than customer success goals and like stopping bleeding. And that's where you take the red and say, who's fastest to recover? Why are these red? Right? That's where you dig in for that. And that's really how I used dashboards before, but I did not have a tool for this when we first started. We did this all in spreadsheets, which is really how we came to grow into this, is that there was a lot of Excel shenanigans going on to have insights into this before we got a tool in the software world and felt like MSPs need this same type of tool. So that's, the dashboard thinking is to give you those fast insights of where are my top opportunities, where's my largest client that's red. And also the reverse of that is where's my happiest client. And sometimes you want the low effort, low value, right? These automated folks, referrals there. If you see other people in that vertical, those are very profitable because you're not having a lot of human touches. Well, you want to know where your happy clients are in that quadrant, right? And where your happy clients are in the bottom right quadrant. so you can give referrals of like-minded businesses, right? The right people. You don't want to go to a huge company and give them a 5-seat person as your referral, that type of
And
thing.
sometimes when your CS folks or your account managers and whatnot are just having a shitty day, it's nice to be able to go, I want to call this person and check in on them so I know I'm not going to get yelled at, right? Sometimes you're just in the point in your day where you need an easy one, right? So, it never hurts to know where your wins are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks, Chris, for the feedback. I suspect, so it'll be 2 weeks before you see us again, unless you meet us in IT Nation. You've seen the way our development rolls. I suspect this will look different in 2 weeks. And Matt, I will have a dashboard. Sure.
So it's the 10th we have to wait for.
It will be, so we will turn this on for folks next Friday, the 12th. So because we'll be at IT Nation and traveling back on Friday and Saturday. We just were trying to not have people in airplane. As you know, we try to respond to tickets quickly, and if they're flying for 6 hours, there's no chance of responding at that time period. So we will turn it on when we have tails and seats to address it, because when it's especially in a beta platform where we don't have canned responses on, like, that's new. We want to make sure we can follow up.
Not that you guys have ever seen beta code run in production before, but we prefer to be able to fix it on the fly.
Yep.
So Marnie, I think the last thing we need to establish is just, what we're going to do. And I think we need to establish a weekly call, specifically a work group for the customer success beta folks, and just give them a weekly hour that they know we'll have open office hours to be there and chat. And we'll commit to giving you guys something. I don't know what day and time it'll be, but we'll hop in a Zoom call. We'll post it publicly for you, or maybe even link it out here in the platform somewhere where you can find it. But that way, if you're working on customer success and you have questions and they're not, not the world is on fire or something's really broke, you just want to show us what you've got, talk us into building something extra, give us some advice or some best practices, learn from everybody else who's using the platform. It'll be a good opportunity for all of us to get together and kind of knowledge share as we roll this thing out.
And on that, the customer alignment piece, I'd love to, if there's a brain share we can do amongst everybody to come up with best practices of, I suspect 80% of it is all the same for a lot of us. I've oversold that to my team already, so I have to make shit work quickly.
So maybe that's the first one we have the conversation around, because in all of our beta conversations that we've had so far, stack alignment has been the one that gets the fastest win with the teams, because it's insights into things that folks have been struggling for. So maybe that will be the first call that we do. And Alex, to your point, we won't take it as this Friday weekly call, because some folks will only use our VCIO module, and we don't want to dilute that, because that's still getting major development as well. But I will put stack alignment on the list of the first conversation that we want to walk through. So I will plan on, I'm thinking the hour before this, Alex, makes sense, or maybe make it at like 1:30 so we don't have 2 hours back to back. So
I don't know. I'm not even sure if we want to do it on Friday, just because it might be hard for some MSP owners to give us 2 hours on the same day. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback, actually.
Yeah, what would work for folks? Mondays and Fridays are our slower days where we typically.
Mondays are usually a shit show for those guys.
Yeah, right. That's why I wouldn't want to do it Monday for MSPs. So that's.
Wednesdays are typically good for me.
Anybody else got a preference?
Wednesday afternoons are pretty good.
Okay.
Matt likes that too.
Okay.
We do new to LCI at 1 on Wednesday, but anytime after that, I could schedule something. So yeah, it seems like that's a win for everybody. So
3 again, that way our West Coast folks can participate as well. So we will plan on Wednesday afternoons for this at 3. And then Friday afternoons will still be weekly calls, but we will make sure to give updates probably at the end, so that folks that aren't using it will have access.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, so the plan will be, We will turn this on for you if you're interested next Friday around 3-ish. That next Wednesday, so 12, 13, 14, 15, the 17th at 3. And let me just triple check my calendar. We could have that first call and actually walk through maybe stack alignment as the first piece. So kind of do a group onboarding that day of anybody that wants to join, and just, plan on logging in, and let's beat it up together and talk around stack alignment. I like it.
And I don't know everyone else's thought, but the stack alignment piece, it almost feels like some portion of that should be in the VCIO. Like that's almost like a module that really sets in both places. Even if it wasn't fully fleshed out on the VCIO side, but because a lot of us right now are, faking it with an assessment to do the exact same thing, right? So
we have talked about how we can connect those pieces. I don't know, Alex, if you have any more thoughts on that after we've gotten feedback from folks, other than, yes, we see the connection for sure.
Yeah, because we're all keeping that, in a spreadsheet somewhere, right? It's data that we're responsible for already.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the way we do that in the VCIO module is everything that we have in our stack, there's a question for it in our assessments, in our quarterly assessments. And then if you go in to LCI, you can kind of see where you're having a lot of no's across the board or things like that. So it's not the best way, but until something better comes along, you're going to kind of at least be able to see across your customer base, like, is that entire row always at risk across the board? That's a really good way for you to kind of figure out how well your customers are against your stack.
Yeah, that's what we're in the process of doing right now. Is we've got an assessment set up, and then you do the show me this same assessment across all my customers, and you end up with a graph. We're like,
Yep.
we're cheating to get there, right?
Yep.
Right, and that was the best answer that any of us had up until recently. So that was the de facto best practice, if you will, because we didn't have a better tool for it. But as we continue to improve, we'll figure that one out, and we'll have some conversations internally as to whether or not we can justify having that on both sides.
All right. Well, I say thank you and happy Friday to everybody. If you have more ideas along the way, so please, goodness knows the right message will get to us, but beta@lifecycleinsights.io. We will ask that if we have bumps along the way, and we will ask that feedback gets submitted to beta instead of production tickets, so that the right team works on fixing it. So I'll send that out in an email next week when you all get access to it, and we're looking forward to it. And then we'll see where we go from here. But we're excited about it, and I appreciate all the feedback. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Howard.
Keep up the good work, guys. Have fun next week.
Oh,
Appreciate it.